Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated and you join me as we survey the walls of Cork and prepare our assault. Donica has his siege towers constructed, just as the army of Niall, the king of Alloch, which controls this region, approaches. We have Fuha. I'm actually going to deal with some of the names as they pop up later on. Fuha. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with him. The intention is to siege down Cork and hand it back to the Vikings. So if I bring him in this direction, he's basically just going to be neck and neck with Donica. Now, the only other issue is that Niall's forces might... No, they probably won't be able to take Cork back quickly. They could go for Ardmore. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk diverting Fuha's forces in this direction. And the other major army we have is Flanshina's way off in Breffni. What I'm going to do, I didn't quite think about this. I'm going to see maybe about putting him out to sea to see what he can see and sail him around to the north of Donegal and to attack and siege Alloch. Because the Vikings they've built a kind of a Viking front against us. So we'll see, maybe that's what he's going to do. Money is a bit lacking at the moment. I'm going to pretty much try and save up for the next upgrade to Cashel. That's going to be pricey. Oh boys, that is going to be pricey. We're what, 1900 away? Right.
Kill them all!
Kill them all. We won't auto-resolve. We will manually fight. Surprise, surprise, I'm using my trusty tactics. Here is our diversionary force, which we will get up to the walls. It's a rather interesting looking battle ground. So we'll get these guys up to the wall. So it doesn't need to go all the ways around. The palisades don't need to go all the ways around because this area is blocked off. So quite a lot of harbours. I'm not too sure whether this is based on historical reality or not, but it's a rather unique looking defensive position. Obviously we'll say Ahabo is not based on reality. I forgot that I placed these guys here specifically so that they could start burning things, and then I was like, oh my god, something on fire. Who's burning things?
We're ready for this.
I did actually try to get the weather until late in the evening to try to stop these fire arrows from causing problems. This is rather interesting. This is the first place that we've fought that has an elevated ramp up to the front gates, so that's causing the troops a bit of trouble to get through. Now, maybe one of my issues is that I've actually placed too many troops over here, so it's actually going to be hard for them to get up the escalator once we get it in place. Escalator in Irish is Staire Bio, which translates directly as living stairs. So there you go, Staire Bio. So we've gotten some of the troops up to the wall over here. And we're also in at the front gate. So this flank here is the weakest at the moment. Both by us, because we're only committing 2 units plus the guys on the Styrabio. And over here we have 3, but there's a much stronger resistance over here. And it actually looks like we might be in a bit of trouble. But those axemen took a lot of damage from bringing in the escalator. So I would have a feeling it's over here. It is indeed. So our men have rallied right beside their watchtower. How handy. Now we're actually seeing some of their forces routing.
Rubbish them!
We're seeing a lot of their forces routing. Oh no! The settlement is on fire. How did that happen? So we've brought in the horse boys to give these guys a bit of a reception as they leave. We've hit some of their forces over here that were kind of half leaving. They were thinking about leaving. So again, this is where we have the most forces and we're not bringing them into play. We're not able to actually get them into play because they're putting up a tough resistance. They're putting up a tough resistance. Somehow, we've lost a tremendous amount of our own forces. Firing on... That's not what I wanted. Firing on... Basically, they took up positions on either side of a retreating army and have managed to deal more damage to each other than they had to the enemy. They've killed a good chunk of their own forces. The gates are down. Do we want to charge? Do we want to charge with the general, with Donica? Donica is stone mad and he's looking for a wife, so do you know what? We'll get him in the door. Ulgarg, you're fine. Go off. We'll get him in the door as quickly as we can. In case there's a single woman in here. Never mind. Donica, foiled again. Oh, the poor man. The poor man. One of our axe units absolutely decimated down to 2 men. So that would be the unit... Or are they down to 10? That would be the unit that led the escalator. I don't think you can choose who gets to command the Styrabio, because some of my forces are not great with it. So these guys would traditionally, the current spearmen would have traditionally taken it, I thought, or maybe it was the Fina Band, I'm not too sure, but the current X-Men have been decimated. They probably also brought the Styrabio to a tougher part of the wall. So there we go. And we will liberate Cork.
Got it!
And hopefully they'll go way up there and take Clune and leave me alone. So we have indeed lost 1 unit. And now the question is, what do we do? I really want to push for Ras Alahar. And we could feasibly make it in 2 turns. The problem is we're leaving this area undefended. Yeah. We're leaving this area undefended from this 15-stack army of Alok that's coming in. And the last thing to take a look at is the man, the myth, the legend. We might leave him here to recoup those losses. Plus, we have low loyalty by Maine or Monya. I wonder where he's based. He's based here. I know for a fact that he's based here. So that's the problem with him. There's our son Ardgar. There's Gormla. Wait, did I accidentally marry my daughter to Auli? So I was thinking, Amolgaid is how I've been pronouncing this, and I was thinking that can't be right, and you will know from my videos on Ucca, Mugmadoin, the difficulties that I have with some of the old Irish names. So this is Old Irish. Auli is one of the versions I've seen, or Avoli, which with the M is probably how I would pronounce it. And this will later become Mock Auli or Mock Avoli. So if somebody was the son of this individual, they would be Mock Auli, which is then anglicized as Macaulay. So this is basically Macaulay Culkin. So there you go. So I think Fuhad, as I was saying, would be Fuha. But then you have Dunica, which would be the modern Irish, and of course in Old Irish it would be Dunachud. So Murchud, Dunachud, and then in modern Irish, I won't say modern Irish, but yeah, I suppose modern Irish would be Murcha and Dunica. So some of these names, the Auli wouldn't be a very common name, so I wouldn't have a tremendous amount of resources to go to find a pronunciation. But there you go. So we getting some of the pronunciations updated a bit late in the series. So there you go. I got his name mixed up, so I didn't realize I'd accidentally married him off to my daughter. It doesn't make a difference. Nobody else was going to take her. We tried to send her off to Connacht. Poor old Dunica has nobody. And the whole reason we're here is because that waste of space, I don't know where he's after going to. Maine or Monya, he's causing trouble here, so we kind of have to keep Flanchina here to watch him for a while. Right. My god, we've destroyed this place. Entirely. But fair car is definitely fair car. And he has more than enough. Now, good news, bad news. I was going to say I'd forgotten what the good news is, but then I saw demolition complete. So there, that can be the good news. Drumcolliher has been lost to a... Okay, they're gone now, are they? Yeah, they've been completely wiped. Okay. So our allies have wiped out the one-stack army that took Drumcolliher. Niall's army has landed near Ardmore. We've no army in the locality to strike at him. Well, we will shortly. Fuha, we'll get you to march on Inishfallen. And Donica, we should be able to have you march on Ras Alahar.
Right then.
Occupy. The immediate silence will tell you I've maybe realized, oh no. Our immediate problem is that I now need to get him to turn around and go in this direction, but until we take Inishfallen, there's a chance that this place will then rebel. Now let's actually take a quick bit of a look at Ras Alahar. So here's Inishfallen, which has the monastic house, and here is the church school of Ross. Ross, roughly, is one of the many words for a forest. And so there we can actually see wooded headland in Old Irish is what Ross means. So Ras Alahar is the wooded headland of the pilgrims, and it is associated with Saint Fachna, and includes a famous scripture school known as the School of Ross. So we need to get this thing up to monastic School of Ross. I think it's at level 4 at the moment. No, it's at level 2. Is that all? Ugh. So it's going to be a good chunk of money. There is a good chunk of money coming in, but it's going to be a good chunk of money to get this up to the next level. And actually, church income. It might actually be a good idea to start upgrading this building chain next instead of Cashel to keep the money coming in. Because what will this do? Something about troops. I think the School of Ross is the next thing that we're going to be upgrading like mad.
None shall stand against
Right, here is these guys. So you're pretty much just sitting there waiting. We're gonna have to basically just watch, I think, as Niall's army causes bedlam in this direction. I mean, we're looking at the fall of Ardmore, Lismore, Imlach Ur. It's going to be... He's going to hit Cashel before anything stops him. Realistically. And Flanchina, I mean, is not... It's going to take Flanchina about 12 years to march down in that direction.
None shall stand against us.
How is this Divil looking? Where is his... God damn you, and how much does he want? A grand? Divil. We will leave Flanchina there for a turn. I did not actually realize that we had some research done. See, there we go. 6 turns and we'd have Sacred King. We are doing a-okay for food at the moment. So do you know what? We will go for this 2 turns for fame, and we'll start pushing towards that that +1 loyalty for all characters. Right. Let's see what these devils do. Flan has gotten himself a skull. Siege attrition time when under siege. Wait, I can be sieged? Oh wow. And hospitable. We've lost Ardmore. Now, bless their cotton socks, Waterford has moved to intercept Niall's army. I don't know if that was a great idea, but fair play to you. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. We're going to have to bring Fuha. Actually, he has some forces that have taken a substantial beating. He has some forces that have taken a substantial beating. If they're put in charge of the escalators, we could be in trouble. Well, those guys aren't going to be put in charge of the escalators. So we will maintain that siege around Inish Fallon. Our forces in Ras Alahar, I'm afraid, are going to have to risk it. We could declare war on our allies. We're going to have to begin the march.
Our bravery is legendary.
What a brave march. Flan has gotten himself some skills. I do kind of want to give him a bard just because I really enjoyed playing as a bard in Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. What will Zeal do for him? -2 public order in the local enemy province. That would be handy if he was sieging and we had him in there for a while. Do you know what? We'll just give him a quartermaster. And Auli, or Avoli. What is he? He's a governor. He's doing a good job as a governor. Does this guy have more skills? Oh lord, he has more skills. Do you know what? Sure, we'll give him an old scribe, considering he's wandering around the place like a lunatic. And we might actually be in a position, we're up to 3,900. Ooh. Also, we are at level 3. So it's 6k for level 4 of Ras Alahar. Oh boys. And we'll have to keep Flan where he is because we don't want everyone suffering attrition. Here is the new king of... What's this? Argylla, Monach, arising out of their last stronghold, Cardonal. Now, I was going to say it might seem a bit silly that, like, Argylla's last stronghold is in the very southwest of the country, but this is the Ivera Peninsula, which is connected to the Iverni, and up here we have the peninsula of Corcagoina, which is linked to the Corcagoina. So you'll hear Corca, such as the Corcabaskin and the Corcalai. It's basically the people of. And the Corcagoina have connections to, mythological connections to some of the peoples in the northeast, around the Dal Fiathach and the Dal Naradi and that region. So there's actually some connections going back into the depths of mythology. And it's possible that people from one of those 2 regions migrated to the other. So do you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not all that unusual. Right, what are we doing? I've moved you. I'm confusing myself with discussions on history. That's what we're doing. We're not going to move Flan. We have set our research and we're basically just watching what goes on here. Our allies could be wiped by these guys, but then again that would stop them from marching for a while, so that could be handy. So around Inish Fallon, 160 men are dead. That is actually sizable. That is actually sizable. Now, our major problem is that, like I said, Waterford's army has evaporated.
Can't be done.
I think they have a new king. And Niall has marched on and taken Lismore.
What we do best.
So I don't think there's anything to stop him from heading for Imlach Ur. So I'm going to bring him to here.
Forward we go.
Now we're also sieging Inishfallen, and the other problem is that there is a 12 stack coming in this direction. What does the army look like? And does it tell me who actually has the stuff equipped? Because like I said, if it's either of these two, then we're in a bit of trouble. We've also got the Honourable Leader. Any non-hostile outlander who respects the local laws should be considered an equal. Absolutely not under any circumstances. If you come from outside of the... I have to find what the legal... It's not really the Tuha, but basically the people under the king were protected by the king. Under the Ree. And if you came from outside that polity, you had no protection under the law whatsoever. The only people who could travel, we'll say, from one end of Ireland to the next and be protected constantly under the law were religious figures, and I think maybe some category of bard. But yeah, no, if you're traveling from like one district to the next, you have no protections. Don't be going on about that nonsense. So now we can move on to tides. Nothing in this world is certain except for death and taxes. Introducing a tide system across the lands. To take a small amount of our people's produce, incomes and crop yields will swell our coffers with additional wealth. Why can't we just raid for cattle? So we don't have the ability for that or for that. I think we'll just keep pushing in this direction. A bit of extra money is going to help us. A bit of extra money is going to help us, and the question is now, what do we do? Do we hold on for the 600 for the 6,000 for Ras Alahar, or do we start upgrading Cashel? I think we're going to wait and try and bring this financial crisis here under control. How is this lunatic doing? I think he might be gaining 2 per turn, if I'm reading correctly. So I'm going to leave Flan there for 1 more turn. And with our heavily beaten army, we will attack Inishfallen. We have a 200 troop advantage. We have taken significant casualties. We don't really have a choice, do we? I think we might actually have to take some troops off a horseback to try and win this. We will try and attack, but this is not looking great. So what you're trying to tell me is that Killarney is just a rainier Cork. How dare you?
Sons of the Morrigan.
It might be true, but how dare you?
We are the Gales.
So we have a fairly tough resistance there. We're actually looking like this could be a good position to break through. The only major problem is that if any of these points breaks early, then they're going to be able to redeploy their forces rapidly, which is going to be rather problematic. These guys are just standing there, watching, waiting.
Grind them into the mud. Swiftly now, man.
And the good news, in case anybody was wondering, was no, they did not put our worst forces in charge of the Styrabio. I have unfortunately put both of the heavily depleted forces over here on this flank.
Get going.
That is a bit problematic. Well, maybe. We'll see in a moment.
Bring their walls down. Turns.
Nobody's bringing the walls down. If you can get in over the walls, you'll be doing well. There'll be nobody bringing the walls down. So we have hit the walls.
Spearmen. Fight on. Turns.
So these guys, I imagine, have redeployed from the front gate.
Enemy charge.
Okay, where do we think we're going to be able to break through? This is going to be a tough location. This is where our weakest forces are, and this is where they've also placed their general. I think this could be the place. Now we're already seeing one of their forces, and it's actually javeliners, and they are indeed running. So just like we've put all of our weakest forces on one side, they seem to have done something similar. Now they have actually regrouped. They are facing in the wrong direction, which is at least good. We might see them now actually turning around and peppering our forces and their own forces with arrows. Okay, we are close to having everything committed. The Fina band here is holding out very well. I was about to say our only hope is to actually break this flank. So on the one hand, we still have men coming up the stairs. The longer it takes these guys to break, the more troops we're going to lose on the other flanks. Oh, that flank is gone, I would say. That flank is gone. We've just hit their javeliners, so we can try to bring these guys in. Okay. Now we begin the slow process of trying to march on the gates. Losing a chunk of forces here, but we might as well take this tower. Just in case their forces come back or march in this direction. We've actually got the javeliners on there as well. Fair play to them, they're holding well, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to hold for, and it's going to take a while before we get these guys up. Possibly if we can take the gates, see if we can bring in Dunica. Considering how badly depleted they were to begin with, our own forces are actually holding well over here on the on this flank. These guys are doing grand. They've actually knocked out one of the units, axemen. Their surf archers are facing in the wrong direction. I'm giving these guys a bit of a break, just have them walk in for now. Oh, their towers have started firing. These guys haven't, but the towers have. Do you know what? They're fresh. So they have, do they have 2 units of javeliners? They actually have javeliners and surf archers. And our own forces have started retreating. I didn't expect it to be from here. I did not expect it would be from here. We see one of their units wavering up in the corner. Is it actually their general? It could well be. So this, we should mow through these guys fairly quickly, I would hope. One of their units has broken. Slowly the walls come down. Slowly the walls come down. Right. Or if I just keep them here, will they, if they take the wall, will they take the whole, these two as well? The enemy flees, our men flee. Everyone's fleeing. Okay, we have taken the gates. I think I said we'd bring in Dunica. Dunica will have a long march. He'll have a long ride down from the borders of Imloch Ur It is, of course, Fuha who is commanding this army. We have... Wow! The flank that I expected to go the fastest has driven out their general. He's retreating down in this direction. We might well actually end up hitting him. Those guys are exhausted. Winded, if we could get them to here, that'd be fantastic. That is surprising. They're actually also pushing the remaining unit that they have up there. I was trying to figure out why we couldn't attack these forces, and then I realized, wait, they're my forces. They're traitors. They're running from the battle. Kill them. Just as we were trying to get off that rally command. And boys, oh boys, that wing has held out. Fair play to them. We didn't manage. Do you know what? We'll let him leave. We'll let him go in peace to love and serve the Lord. So I suppose their archers were positioned on the gate. Their archers and their javeliners were positioned on the gate. So that was a substantial amount of their forces not deployed. They were heavily dependent on that archer and those two javeliners. They did very little, and the axemen seemed to have done very little. One of their sword units got 102 kills, which is getting close to a third of our total losses. So there you go. Oh yeah, we could liberate Inishfallen. We will occupy. We will occupy. Right. Fuha has gotten himself a promotion. We'll give him a quartermaster. We have damaged buildings in Inishfallen. What is this? The harbour. 2 supplies. A bit of food production. Will it let us change? It won't. We could dismantle. We'll repair it. And a grain silo. We now have this problem of trying to see whether or not we can actually appoint somebody. Because I don't really have the money or the food to recruit another army. To recruit a soldier and just have them commanding an army and slowly getting skills the way that they're loyal. And I don't want to hand Fuha, I don't want to give this region to Fuha, because I kind of need him to command my armies. What way is he? He's not even there. He's not even an option, is he? Oh well, these are all governors. I think we're going to go with Tuhl. He's impassioned. He's got a passion for governance. Oh, it's going to cost 500. Oh, Tuhl is another not great character. Personal loyalty too. What's kind of handy there now is if Niall's army is wiped, if he wants to get any more soldiers, he's going to have to pretty much recruit them from Alok. He could recruit them from here, but we'll say if Niall himself is killed, then I think he's going to reappear in Alok to begin with, and then he'd appear here if we still haven't retaken these regions. Again, I would be hoping Cork moves out and takes Clune. Dunica is preparing to do combat in the next turn, unless he goes for Waterford, which would be problematic. We will bring this turn to an end. So a couple of things have happened. One is that Argulla has put together 11 troops and is heading in the direction of Inishfallen. I think we just wait. I think we just wait and let them pass. These guys have decided not to attack Drumcallagher. so they've just left it there. And the other major development, I think, is the fact that Niall has indeed headed for Imlach Ur. So that is going to give Donica, with his almost complete army, an opportunity to march out against him.
We'll serve well. Full out!
Donica marches forward. I would have expected him to maybe withdraw a bit. They do have some well-trained forces, but they are still suffering losses from their attack against Waterford. And they actually have Arig mailed horsemen, which I don't believe we have seen to date. They have a lot of archers. So this is the first pitched battle that I will be fighting in quite a while, because I've been doing the auto-resolve for the smaller battles. So look at this, just all the gold. He's still picking it all up. Fair play to him. I have decided to attack them in the fog, which I would hope would limit the usability of their archers. We're going to basically push our forces down the center. And over here on the flank, we'll see if we can actually engage the king himself. So our father is having a bit of a holiday at the moment in Breffni, and we're the ones that are being left to deal with his great enemy. Now we will probably start to see them move their forces around as we try and bring ours in. I'm going to try and bring the horse boys down in behind them and see if we can pepper their household cavalry with some javelins. But everybody else is marching along nice and slowly. Uh-oh, he knows something's up. They all know that something's up. The devils. Ride hard. You heard the man. God, they really didn't get anyone from Ireland to actually help in the making of this or in the dialogue. So in go the horse boys. We'll see if we can get them to just cause a bit of bedlam, a bit of mayhem, a bit of old tomfoolery. I think they're actually sending their own forces forward. I'd say no, the only tomfoolery is these fools trying to figure out what they should be doing. They haven't gotten a single shot off. Fair play to them. So indeed we have their javeliners throwing stuff. So we will begin a general charge. We could probably actually get our own general almost from the position that they're in at the moment to get an attack off from the rear. We're seeing a lot of their forces just running. Let's see, we'll keep you there and see if we can get our horse boys to deal with any of them. Their general is out of position, not in a great place. Our general is under attack, so we've charged probably into some bad locations. We might need to pull that general out again. We won't toggle fire at will, we will toggle skirmish mode. And our general has gotten himself into the midst of the battle, into the heaviest of the fighting. Some of our men are fleeing. Our general seems to be holding. There's Niall. Oh, Niall is the only one standing. One of our horse units did get a bit of a beating. Donica's fine though, that is the most important thing. So we didn't really need to deploy, and didn't deploy our javeliners at any stage, really. Our horse boys have been having a strange old day. We will probably want to try and chase down and wipe as many units as we can. So we managed to encircle them well. Hit them. Our horse boys and their horse boys have just been weird. I think that's... I can't see what's actually... Other than their horse boys, I have really no idea what's still standing. That unit of spearmen has just broken. We just have everybody massed here in a big pile. One of our charges with the horse units didn't do fantastically well. Other than that, everything's gone a-okay. We'll just make sure, I suppose, that these units over here are gone. And Niall, he's going to fall back probably on... Well, he's going to have to fall back on Lismore. So we're going to be marching in to say hello to him. Now, of course, we've actually also lost a good chunk of units. So it's going to be interesting to see how we recover, because we will not have Fuha or our father to assist us. Fuha is going to have to basically take control of the Ivra Peninsula. So they do have some other units making it off the field. We've lost 2 units of horse boys. And nothing of value was lost. We'll end the battle there. So 428, that is a hefty loss. They have 1 unit of horse boys and 1 unit of just normal leg boys. Niall himself is in a bit of trouble. He won't be taking no more money, so he won't the devil. Do you know what? We will definitely take on warriors. Because we need it. He's cut off and heading for Cashel. Oh, that's not great. We're apparently in a position to hit him. We have skills available. This devil. How do we give him loyalty? And Thunica. What's Thunica after getting for himself? We could give Thunica a champion. How is Thunica just so useless? What a critical father I am. We will hit this unit with the main force. 1400 to their 85. We'll give the owl auto-resolve a day out. We'll go for the old balance tactics. Oh, a kick into the side of the knee. Oh, boys. And he's down and out. They won't be much of an old ransom. Do you know what? Yeah, we'll replenish our forces. So Niall, one of the more interesting kings that has arrived, succeeding a random carryman that they put in charge there a while back. And we do now have our bit of a cleanup operation. So I'd imagine that their new forces are going to appear in... Where are their new forces going to appear? Ah, look, I got confused because I just saw... Oh, God. This, and look where the dragons of the sea. Look where this army is, way over here. They can't do anything. Now, if they try to siege, which they won't, they're just going to go around for Kilviceda. And do you know what? You can have that. You can have that. Stay away from my forest. Stay away from my forest. Are we just going to be running around after broken armies again? How would we get him out into the sea? There we go. There we go. Flan Shinna gets on a boat. He's gotten himself on a boat. Dunica. Where does it tell me, like, how many scars does he have now at this stage? Is he just, like, a pile of scars? Is that all he is? No woman will want him now in this condition. We will bring the summer of 899 to an end. I think we might push on to the start of the year 900, just to see what things look like. Well, never mind. Flanchina gets himself into a boat. That lad becomes wise. Flanchina gets himself into a boat, and the Grianon of Alach has fallen. I didn't actually realise it was under siege. I hadn't checked it in a while. Alach has fallen. For all intents and purposes, this now is the great and glorious kingdom of Alach. Ardfert, Clune, Ardmore,
War is what we do best. Oh, yes.
not Lismore.
All right.
And here's their new king,
No.
Muel Shachloin. A good O'Neill name. I forgot actually that we're both O'Neills. We will go for, in terms of research, we will go for the Sacred King. Ordering all monks, priors and bishops to use their influence to help legitimize our leadership will see us wield more political influence. We don't really order them. We more buy and bribe and reach agreements. But we'll do that anyway.
Our bravery.
So, well, Shachloin, well done, great job. Thanks for coming. Yeah, we'll recruit him. We'll pretend we recruited him. Shh, don't look at the screen. We recruited him. We convinced him to join us. It's fine. He's still alive. He's in our army somewhere. Oh, poor Arguilla. I was wondering, I said, you know what, we're going to just stay here and wait for Arguilla to come to us. What's happened instead is that Limerick has just bypassed Killarney and is heading for Arguilla. Do you know what you want, Cahardonal? I don't think I care.
Our bravery.
Can we reach Ardfert? No. What's going on in Ardfert? Ardfert has an iron mine. Where's Drumcallagher? So that has a grand kiln, and Drumcallagher would be the cattle pens, which would actually be very useful to us.
Stand against us.
I think it's the same difference. So we'll march on Ardfert. That place is still happy. So we'll probably take Ardfert and Drumcallagher, and even if Limerick takes Cahardonal, it won't be all that much of an issue if we can take back Ardmore and hopefully see Cork march on Clune, and whatever army was here seems to have vanished. The rebel army. There was kind of a rebel army here at one stage. And yeah, I suppose the other thing that is poor old Flanchina, who's just got out to sea, delighted with himself. You don't sail with the tide. No, there's nowhere to go to. So just get back.
All ashore.
All ashore. That's it. Good man yourself. Back to Drumahair. They just left Drumahair. Everyone was delighted to see them go. Maine was going plotting a rebellion, and now he hears they're coming back. The poor man. Well, we'll be back in time for Christmas of 899. So Fuha has gotten himself a strong arm. Fair play to him.
The men are eager to get to it.
The men are eager to get to Drumahair. Off to Drumahair.
Our every foe shall fall.
Now, what's going on? What's going on? What is going on? I saw Limerick's army disappear and I was wondering where they'd gone to. Who? Just who? I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea who these guys are.
That?
Don't tell me you guys marched from Waterford. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here. Tuchel is being bold. He's fine. We'll get that sorted out shortly. The problem is,
Bring me their heads.
once we take Ardfort, he can't move. Well, we wouldn't have had him move anyway. If we can take Drumcolliher, I'm pretty happy. We've pacified the south, we'll say. I've no idea what's going on here. Oh, that's right, there's the new king. Have you taken... You divils. Oh, Waterford, you divils. They've taken Ardmore. I don't think I care all that much. I would like to have had Ardmore. I don't want Clune. The problem is, if these guys don't take it... So we'll say Kilvick Eda. I think that's because there's problems here in Waterford, and that's the problem, is because we don't control the region. We can't really do anything to fix the problems there. So if we take Clune, we're just making things problematic for ourselves.
None shall stand against us. Strip them of their loot.
So we are one turn away from getting a substantial sum of money together and actually getting the next technology done, which will elevate us to... Well, it will elevate the loyalty of our forces. Flann has reached Drumahair. He has indeed. We're raiding down here, and yeah, we're nearly finished with this entire region. We'll actually be able to bring all of our forces. We could have one in Leinster, one in Mide, one in Breffni, and have them cross across and first of all hit the Vikings. So, or we could just concentrate on the Viking regions up here and then try to form a peace treaty with them when we have taken those regions. Then again, oh no, we'd have to. I was going to say we wouldn't have much of a war against these guys, but yeah, if we can take everything off of the Vikings, then it's literally just a war for Grianan Alach and Ordvaca. So that would literally be kind of a lightning strike in to take those two regions. Right. We will bring the winter of 899 to an end and usher in... Are we ushering in a new century, or is that in a year's time? I've actually forgotten. We'll change the number at the start of the checkbook. So Lismore has been sacked. That is not surprising in the slightest. I was thinking something like that was going to happen.
The men are eager to get to it.
Oh, they sacked it. And then
We come.
Waterford went up, basically defeated that army, and Waterford's now marching on Clune. I'm not gonna stop them. I'm not going to stop the Viking forces from doing that. Rather interestingly enough, Dublin has also committed its forces to the sea, and I imagine, because they're at war with Alloch, they were heading for Clune. Not too sure what is going on. I was going to say I'm not too sure what's going on down here. Now I know what's going on down here. And we'll begin our march for Drumcolliher. We have a Sacred King. And where does that put us? I don't really care about the go away with decrees. Oh no, a minor diplomatic penalty, anything but that. And I don't care about the 20 legitimacy. Don't really care too much about agriculture. I don't think I care... Well, I can't care about community because it's actually done. Gologlig. And with an all-merciful sum of money to our name, I wonder if these guys take Clune, will our raid stop? I hope it does. With an all-merciful sum of money to our name, we will come to Ras Alhar, and we will begin the process. It's become a bit cheaper, actually, of upgrading. It's going to be 10 turns. What are we looking at? 2.5 years? So we need we're on 1800 and we're making 21 per turn. Where am I going to? We need... I think it'll be about 2 seasons. And we can start moving for level 4 of the Palace of Kashal. So at the moment, it's pretty much trying to get money together. I think this one's going to help us a lot. I think this one's going to help us a lot because of the amount of church money that we're making, and that's kind of how we make our money, is through the church. So yeah, we might want to look at a few places and start trying to push our money making, or our church revenue that we have. Cattle pens, which would give us some additional farm income. I think we've most of the actual church locations kind of pushed up to the very max. What's going on here? The monastic house. So plus 10% income from the church. So level 2, you see it to be pricey. That's a lot of money to put in there, considering that we could be putting it into other places. We have to put it into Ras Alahar, and we're also getting church income from it. That's why I'm kind of happy to focus on there first of all. And it's it'll be interesting to see what level these buildings are at. Already, we do not know. We do not know. So there we go. Hopefully, our allies in the great and glorious Viking Kingdom, the largest Viking kingdom in Waterford, which has now taken Ardmore and is on the verge of taking Clune. So it's going to be this continuous Viking strip from Waterford to Cork to Caherdonal, because we're actually going to probably see Caherdonal fall to Limerick. So it's going to be this one continuous Viking strip across the southwest. And then we have our other allies. Look at all these Viking allies that we have. All these Viking allies. And Mayo. Basically Mayo. Connacht just being awkward and weird and sitting there doing nothing. It has taken a while to get the war machine going. But once Caherdonal falls to the forces of Limerick, we will see another enemy, and once Drumcallagher falls to our own forces, we will see another enemy, and once Clune falls to... Okay, there's a couple of places to go. But once those 3 regions fall, we will have seen another 2 enemies wiped from the map. Our northern brethren, the Northern Enail, and then we will begin moving our forces northwards to take on the Viking menace of Dublin. We have 3 of the 5 required locations under our control. Still have to actually get them up to level 5 buildings. That's probably going to be the toughest, is to get the money together to get those up to level 5. And what I'm going to do for the start of the next episode is prep some info. Now that we've taken and pacified the southwest, prep some info on Ras Alahar and a couple of other locations down here that are of interest. So I might go through that at the start of the next episode. So there you go. Thank you all very much for joining me on this one. I hope you'll join me on the next one. And a very happy new year. Happy 900 to all the viewers of this video.